Okay. I've just had a message come through from Wendy, and I'll have to get back to her later. So I'm live, obviously now. So I'm going to talk to you about using the Trivex rulers, and I'm going to have a bit of a fabric sale. So I thought I would show you what they are. Let me just get the tag. So, g'day, hi. Hello, Michelle, everyone. Hey, ladies, how are you? All right. So the Trivex ruler I find is quite a handy little one. It comes in a pack of 2, and they're $38 a pack. I have 3 left because I know that Pat ordered one of these. It does have instructions on the back how to use them, but I'm going to show you because with these, if you don't move them up and down a little bit, then hi Gidget, hi Colleen, then when you're putting them together, then you'll have them, they'll sit wrong. So I have been playing with this piece that I've been making, and this is one of my panels that I've got, and I'll grab one of them while I'm thinking of it. And I have, in the mauve, I have the cotton panels, and in the yellow, neutral tones, I have the silk. Now remember what we said about the silk and about stabilizing. So stabilizing it, I use bag batting, just like I did with this one. Okay, and that helps stabilize it, and then I can put it into a quilt. Okay, so that's, hi Chris, hi Debbie. Hi Gidget. So that's what they are. They're $27.50 for a panel, and they're called, well, I call them, they're delightful daisies, dancing daisies, whatever you want to call them, really. So I've worked out and done the top and bottom of this, and I'm going to move the camera in a minute, and showing you how to. No pattern for this at all. I've just gone off the seat of my pants. And it's a cold, wet, miserable day here, so plenty of time to do it in. This is one of the rulers. This is the one I'm using today. You probably can't see it because it's clear. Hi Karen, how you going? This will give you up to a 6.5 inch rich size border. I'm using it at 5 inches, and it has the line on it. So what I actually did, and I'll grab it, I cut a strip of 5 inches. So no matter what your border you want it to be, you cut that strip. Hi Joan, how you going? Welcome. You cut your strip of fabric at the width that you want to have your border. So you would cut it at 5 inches because that's the size of the triangle I want to cut. So I've cut them at 5 inches. Okay, and I've started at the open end, not the folded end. Remembering, if you've got fabric that it has a printed, like not batik, so you can't use a front and back. If you've got fabric that has a front and a back, then you'll need to have them right sides facing. Otherwise, they're going to be back to front. Okay, just so you know. Hi Judy. Then I've cut them out like that, and they've got a little flat end, you'll see, and that is the top or bottom of your border. And then I've sewn this onto it and trimmed them in the same angle, not straight across, because I don't want to do that, otherwise I'll have a hole in my border. So I've trimmed them on the same angle that the actual triangle's going. Okay, so that's them. Now the whole quilt, I have not ironed it once. Oh my God. Stop the press. Hi Sheila. I've used the roller press. So my seams are all flattened out. So that's been flattened out. Get a bit of fluff off it. That's been flattened out. It's nice and flat with a roller press. So fingers, roller press, they need to be done that way. If you iron them, you are going to stretch them. If you do and you can't control yourself and you do iron them, make sure you use a starch. just to stop it from stretching. But I find no matter how hard you try, you will stretch the fabric if you iron them. Now I've cut all my little pieces. I've joined on, so I'll just open that up. So far, there's my center. It's going to be very bright. That's the top border. And there's the bottom. And I've started doing a side one. Okay? So it looks brighter than it really is. It's not as bright as all that. There you go. So I have used 1-inch strips in between. So I have I've cut them all and I've sewn them all together, and I've created another border to sew on. See? So to get to that point, I have to do the trimming and have to get them sewn together. So I'm going to show you how I did this. I did it in the last video, but I'll show you again very, very quickly, and then it's repeat for each triangle after that. What you need to do is figure out which way you want the color, if they're different colors. Sometimes too you can do strips, you know, or fabrics that have got lines in them, and you can then use it that way, and you can flip them around. That's another good way of doing it. But you just got to remember to have them right sides together, otherwise it will be back to front. So first things first, I've cut my strip of 5-inch fabric. Then my folded end is up here, and I've started cutting on the open end where the selvages start. The reason why I do that is because if I don't use it all, then I can still have that fabric as one piece without a cut in it. So I'm going to take the camera off myself and go down here. Hopefully that will show you what I'm doing. So I've lined up 2 colors on top of each other. Don't line up any more than 2 at a time, okay? Because they do shift when you cut, and you don't want the 1 mil here and then a mil. By the end of it, you've got it, you know, 1 inch, 2 inches out along the whole quilt. So I'm going to place my ruler at the 5-inch mark, which is there, and the top of it is going to go up here, and I'm going to line it up there, and I can see that the pink is showing through. So first things first, I'm going to cut this side, making sure it's all lined up, and I think my blade has got a bit of a thing in it, and just move that back like that. Okay, don't actually pick this up until you can move that away. All right, otherwise you'll have it out of alignment if you try and go cut back. Just swing that baby around. Now you can see that there's a tiny bit of pink sticking its little nose out of there. So I'm just going to line it back up with the 5-inch ruler mark, the top of it, and I'm going to take that tiny slice off. And I know you might think, oh, what's that going to do? But it does make a difference through the whole quilt. So I'm just taking that off. Okay, and I will give it a quick trim with my scissors. Whoops, sorry about that. Just to clean it up a little. If I go back and forth too often with the rotary cutter, what can happen is you end up with that pizza cutter look, and that looks horrible. Alright, so just give it a bit of a trim, get that off. Then I have my 1-inch strips, and I have used this. Okay, it's just a sort of a batik type fabric. Then what I do is I figure out which way these are going to sit up, using that as my top and bottom. Don't have them on the side. This flat piece has to be top and bottom. And then I get the next color, flip it that way, like that, the pink and purple, and that's what I've done and gone along like that. Then I've just separated them a bit, just so I can see. All right, making sure they're top and bottom, they're all the right way up and down. Then I laid that in between because I thought, well, how am I going to see what they look like with that border? And then I threw that in there and I went, yeah, that looks all right. I can cope with that. So then I took notice of which side that is sitting on the pink. So it's sitting on this right-hand side. To you, it'll look like the left, okay? Because the video is in reverse because it's in selfie mode, all right? So I pick that one side and I go, okay, well, all the pinks, it's going to be on that side. So I lay it like that. Move that out of my way. Lay it like that. I get the next one and I lay it there, right on top. And that one right on top. Now I know the seam is going to be sewn on that side because that's facing up. Now, that's done this side, it's going to join that side of the purple to that side of the pink. I also need to sew on the right side of the purple. So I turn it that way so I can see which side it's going on. It's got a little bit of pink on it. And then I turn that one and put them that side, like that. So that means to me, they're the sides I'm going to cut. Now I then pick them up and put them on top of each other. Now if I'm really frightened that I'm going to mix them up, which I don't happen to have, oh yes I do. I normally grab a pin and I'll place it in there, like that. And that's the side that I'm going to actually sew on. When I take it to the sewing machine, which I'm going to do right now, I'll just pop it in that one there. When I take it to the sewing machine, I then need to make sure that when I start sewing, I have a good inch either end, you know, either end of these. Good to half inch between them. Okay, and the reason being is when I fold it over and I cut on that angle, I need to come up into that. If I cut it straight across, like I said before, I'm going to end up with that hole. So I want to cut like that. So that will give me, that's the side that I sewed before, and that will give me that and that. Okay. So you can see there I've just missed a little bit of a corner on that, but I think that'll go into the seam because it's in the 1/4 inch mark, so that's not a big deal. This one's another one. That one has no missings on it, so it's all perfectly fine. Okay, but then I've got to lay it back out. So once I've actually sewn that down and I've trimmed them and I still haven't ironed them, I've pressed those seams by using this fella. Okay, that's how I've done it. And this is called a roller press, and it's a Clover product, and it's $20 from Statewide Sewing Centre. And if you're wanting one, I can organise one for you because I do go in and grab stock from there quite often and sell it for them. So if you're wanting one of these, you need to message me, send me a PM saying, can I have a roller press please, with your email address if I haven't already got it, and I'll organise to get you one. All right. Once we've got these side bits on, so I've sewn it on that right side, so I know, all right, I'm going to show you how I do that, and I do it what they call chain piecing. Once we've got that on, then we need to bring them together. Now the temptation is to think, oh well, this needs to go up that way. No. That flat bit, which is still under here, has to face up and down. Okay, there it is there, up and down. Okay, so they're going to go like that. All right, so first things first, let me show you how to do that chain stitching. Chain piecing is brilliant. So these even though they're a triangle and they're a little bit scary, you can still do them chain piece. The needle I'm using is a 70. Note to self, don't leave video for a couple of minutes and then come back, because I will completely confuse myself with triangles. That's all right. I'll repeat everything anyway, Judy. So this one here, you're going to see them at different lengths, the heights. Sorry, the triangles aren't sitting relevant to each other because I've got the extra border on. All right. So I'll take this to the machine and I'll show you how to chain stitch these. And again, I haven't done anything. I've picked it up the exact same way I had it laying down. I've got the pin in the area that I'm going to sew. That's that edge, right? So I've got that there. I lay over that there because that's the edge I want to sew on. I just keep it simple for myself. All right, now I'm going to go grab the camera so you're going to rock around a little. All right, let's go over here. Move my arm out of the way and get it lined up with the base of the machine. Then what I do is I grab them and hold them the way I'm going to pick them up. So that pin is on my side. I know it looks like it's on my right, but it's on my left-hand side. Okay, so it's right where I need to pick it up. I take the pin out because otherwise it's just going to get in the way. And I put the 1-inch border underneath the machine like that, and I put the needle down. Okay, then I grab one of the triangles and I lift it up and I put it on the bed of the machine the exact same way it's laying down here. So you might not be able to see if I could tip it a little, and you can see there, just there. I think if I tip it any more I'm going to knock it over. So I lift that up and I place it underneath just like that. Now I have the tip of that triangle underneath here, but this being under the machine needle before I get the triangle is going to act like a leader, okay, and it's not going to chew my triangle. Just need to slow it down a bit for the camera. I'm not pulling. I'm not pulling this either, because as soon as I pull it, it's going to distort it. Okay, I'm just laying it nice and flat. I'm supporting it with my fingers. That is all I'm doing. I'm just doing a support thing. I'm being a good friend to the triangle and supporting it. So very, very lightly I'm holding it as I get closer to that point, because that's where the flat edge is, and you'll see why they have a flat edge there in a minute. I'll just make sure that it's running up against that edge. I'm just holding my finger there to stop the fabric from running away on me. And I come out and go right past it, the length of the foot. Okay, so the whole length of that foot, I've gone past it. I grab the next one, I lift up, I haven't cut off, nothing, not a thing. And I move it down a little bit further. So the point of it is about here, okay? I put my finger there and hold on to it. If you've got a purple thing, you can use your purple thing. And as it grabs it, it's just pulling right through. So it's a size 70 needle. I'm using a, I think it's a 450 weight thread. And I go past it. Now this is not going to take the length of the next one. So if I was to put that under there, it's not going to be long enough at this end. Okay, you can just see there. Why do you place the triangle underneath instead of on top? Okay, because being under there, it's tucked away nicely and it tends to support it. If I put it on top, I've probably got more chance of the needle grabbing that corner edge. So I've got this, it just works for me. Try it, see if it works. If it doesn't, then you go back to the way you know. That's just how I do it. Right, so then I just keep going. So if I've got this piece here, sometimes I'll hold it aside like that. Just move it out of the way, lift up. I'll get another piece, which I don't have. Oh, I do. I can just cut one quickly. 1-inch piece. The dogs are barking, it must be someone's home. Okay. So I cut my 1-inch piece. I grab the next one, and it's a bit thin that end because I didn't really measure very well. That's better. I lift up the foot and I go stitch, 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 stitch. Okay, so it's not going to grab the corner of that triangle and pull it down into the machine. It's going to keep that nice and flat. There'll be no chewing on the end of my piece of fabric. Thank you very much. So I just hold that nicely there and slowly feed it in. As soon as it grabs it, I rearrange the fabric again, just gentle. All right, and I just keep going like this, and I'll do all those triangles, and I'll do it for the whole entire border, so they're all ready to go, and I don't have to stop and cut all the time. So the triangle and the blue strip are right sides together when you have sewn them. Yes, good idea, Judy, to go cover my bird up because it's going to be cold again tonight. Yes, I did the same thing, lol. Okay, all right. So yeah, so I actually put it underneath, and that means that the needle is not going to push it down because the top fabric's basically protecting it. Like I say, I'd rather give it a little bit of extra room between each piece than have it too close and lose my points on my joins. Whoops, a daisy, the bobbin's running short, so it might crack it. I'll see if I can get to the end. Oh, it's going to crack it. No, cut off. When the bobbin gets short in this, it will literally crack it at me. All right, I'll just take that out. Yeah, it's got a fair bit on it still, but I'll just swap it for another bobbin. I'm just going to use the black because it's there. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so that goes like that. Come on, a little bit of thread. Grab you. Needle down, needle up. Bring up the bobbin. Put the cover back on. And put that back under here. Back underneath the foot. Back there. Lift it up. And down. And I want the needle in the exact spot, just behind, or a fair way behind. So just in case it decided to chew things. And keep going. Lucky that we can re-watch the video later. I want to get a cuppa. Getting colder now. Yeah, always an inch before the end. I always do it with these triangles. My bloody bobbin did that the other day. Have no idea why. Yeah, just means that the bobbin's really low, and what happens is sometimes they jump around because they're really low. Don't sort of stress over it. Just swap it over. Sometimes it looks like it's still got a lot of thread on it, and you think, what the heck are you carrying on about? I let it have a bit of a carry on. We all have good and bad days. All right, so I'm just letting it feed and cut off there, and that's all in a row. That's why it's called chain piecing, okay? So that's how you chain piece. Some of these quilts that we do have got 30 million thousand squares and stuff like that. And that's how you chain piece without sending yourself nuts or piece it together. Because if you had to do every tiny little square one at a time, you'd go nuts. You'd absolutely go nuts. Yeah, they can make a mess. So the first thing I do is just push that down. And it's just a light push. I just twist it over. Now with the chain piecing, just snip them apart. Like that. Just push that down, and that thread there, see, it did make a chewing up noise. It made it for a reason. Carried on. Just cut off those bit of threads because they will annoy me. And then I have got ready for the roller cutter. Oh really? In the middle of a decorative stitch? Yeah, that's very annoying. So you can see that that's not flat enough just the way I've finger pressed there. So I'm going to use my little rolly doodah, roller press, and look at that. Look how nice that is compared to that one. See how it's up? That one's really quite down. Okay, so we'll do both of them. And I do the in-betweens. I sort of work from this side of the seam. I find that if you work straight across it, sometimes it creases in the wrong spot. Yeah, that's even worse. Yeah, absolutely it is. Once you've done that and you've done all your triangles and you've got them all in a nice big row looking like a bunting, you then probably tempted to just go snip, snip in between, but don't. Get your ruler again, lay it on top like that, line it up and snip that side, go on to the next one and snip that side, okay? Then when you've gone along the whole lot of them, I did my very first quilt one square at a time. I didn't know any better without any tools either yet. Does the roller press leave a residue on the fabric, Michelle? No, not at all. Nothing. No. Then I'm going this side. Oops, I'm going to turn it so I can face on the right side of it. Doesn't matter what angle I have the ruler on, as long as it's along the edge of that fabric. Trim that one off and go on to the next one. Just make sure they're not under each other and trim that side off. But make sure that ruler is running in the angle of your triangle, straight across, not that way, okay? So you don't want to be cutting, how am I going to show you that? You don't want to cut straight across here and take that little ear off. You want to come up, okay, on the angle of the fabric. So you'll have then a whole pile of purple and pink ones of these, or whatever colours you've chosen, and that they're ready now to sew together. You'll also need a little bit at the end of this project to put some on the last one. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm probably speaking in double Dutch. So I'm just going to take off this. And that's going to be my spare bit, because at the end of the border I need to have this, one of these has to have some more on this on the other side of it. All right, now just moving my bits and pieces out of the way. Excuse me. And again, talking lots and lots. I'm surprised I haven't lost my voice. Now, I've chosen, and like I say, with your quilt, whatever you're doing, you can choose whatever colour you want and you can have them in any way you like. But I thought I'd go with the pink on the inside because the purple sort of acts more like an outside border. It looks like almost like teeth. Bit of a chevron look. So I need to have my flat end, okay, and that bit there. Don't be tempted to have it like that. It has to be flat end here, and there's a flat end underneath there. That little bit there has to be down the bottom, okay, because I want it to do that. So you've got one, and then you want your purple one, and you look at it and go, okay, well, it's not going to go like that, and I can't go like that. It goes that side. Don't freak yourself out. Oh, sorry. Where's my little flat bit? There it is. That side. What am I doing wrong? Oh, they're the ones I just did. I did them on the wrong side. Hang on. Let me go back to the ones I just did before. Did I just throw the wrong ones on the pile? So that, like that. Oh, it's because they go like that. No, I did it right. There we go. That one, where's my little flat bit? There it is. Okay, flat bit down. Where's that little doodah there? There. Have I ever sewn it on the wrong side? Oh God, I hope I haven't. Have I got it the wrong way? I might have made a bit of a dig at myself. Hey Judy, a roll is brilliant. I hand piece with arthritis. Yes. So if you've got arthritis or anything like that, then you're going to love. So that one goes, oh, it goes like that. And then this one. Oh, I have. Have I done them on the wrong side? Guys, I've done it on the wrong side. See, look at that. That was a bit silly of me, wasn't it? There we go. See, anyone could do the mistake. I thought I had it all sorted too. All right, let's do these this way. So put them, yeah. Yep, I've done it on the wrong edge of the purple, so I'll go and undo them very quickly and sew them back up. So I've got them like that. I thought I must have done something wrong. Like that. Like that. Now I counted this one and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There, and I've got extras. I think that's what confused me. I had extras. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the purple. All right, so, oh, there you go. I have done that right there. What am I talking about? No, I have done it right. Oh, you mad woman. I thought I was going mad. There we go. 3, and you want 1 at the end. 4, 5, and 6. Now, if you notice at this end, I've got an outside, I don't know if you can just see it, and we are pig-headed and not give up. Same for me too, so get 1, 2, yeah. Just if you want one of those roller presses, just send me a PM. It's easier for a PM for me tonight than it is to stop and write down while I'm doing a bit of a demo. So I've got that border on that end. Well, this end, this one has nothing. So it's got 1 on one side, but that faces towards the pink, but nothing on this side. It needs to have one. And the reason why it needs to have one is because when we get to the end, even though we're going to cut off some of it, there will be a slight overlap. Okay, so we just finished that one off by putting a 1-inch border, and again, making sure we've got plenty of room at either end. So I'll quickly do that, and then I'm going to show you how I pin them together, and I'll trim it as well. So I'm going to sew it the exact same way I did before. Alright, so I'm just going to bring it over here. I'm going to press it open, get my roller press, just push that seam down nicely, working from that end, working my inside out, and you don't want to stretch it, okay? So it's got a nice little handle. I think they will be really useful, Pat, and save our hands. Yes, it's going to save our hands in pain. Yeah, and this is what I said when I was demonstrating them last time. These roller presses, they're a bit more ergonomical for your hands, because when you've got arthritis or carpal tunnel or anything like that, the worst thing you can do is be putting pressure on them. It just hurts too much. So I am just lining up this bit of fabric there. And I can already see this one's not quite in the right shape, and I'll fix that later. I'm not going to stress about it right now. I'll bring it around so it's facing me. So I'm just following the border, and I'll show you what I mean later. Okay, so now that is in. So that one will be there, that one will be there, and thanks, Sue. Look forward to pressing things down with it. Yeah, you won't regret it. No, you won't. No. Okay, so I've got them all in a row. Now, first thing I do is I grab my pins and I pin that one to that one, that one to that one, and if you notice, I am laying them the same way I did before, the right one to the left, or left to right, depending if you're right or left-handed. So that one goes up there, that one to that one. I'll straighten them up in a sec. That one to that one, and I leave that end one. The end one can just stay for now. So they are all in, ready to be sewn. And this is the edge that I'm going to sew, which is the top edge, okay? The reason why I leave it up is so that I know that it's a top edge. If I just leave them facing or just have them any old direction, then you won't know. So I'm going to now put a pin in each one of them. This is the only time I'll throw a pin in them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up. So, going to line up that and that. Now I want this bit here to be about 1/4 inch longer than the one underneath. Okay, I don't know if you can see it with my fat hands. So the top one needs to be 1/4 inch longer than that, and with this end it'll line up like just under. All right, it'll be just on it. So that's the side that I'm going to sew. See? So I'll go along and put a pin in each one, which I think I just ran out of pins in that one. Might have to get some more. No, run out of pins. I've got too many projects going with pins in them. Let me have a look, see if I've got some. No. It's funny how we use these things and we forget. I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, okay, that one, then that one, and I am putting them off center, like that. And then this one with the pin there. They're going to sit at my machine facing me because I sew this side this way. So I know as I pick them up, I'm going to sew that side. Okay, they're not sitting upright, they're not sitting just whichever way, they're sitting how I'm going to pick them up. Okay, that side, which will be the right hand side, not the left as it shows on the video. Alright, so I literally pick them up nice and carefully, take them over to the machine and pop them down, and you'll see in a sec because I'm going to move the camera, and I pop them down at the machine exactly how I'm going to pick them up. Okay, now I'll move it forward for you. Jolty, there we are. Then what I'm going to do is some chain piecing. My rings are just rolling around. Okay, so just to go find socks to put on. Yeah, it is cold. So this one, you can see I'm going to have that pointy bit underneath that needle. I'm going to start, I've got my 1/4 inch seam, I put the needle down, so when I start it's already in the down position, it's not going to go and jump and move. Alright, so it's already in that position, and because I've got the nice little walking foot on there, it's going to play nice. So I double check as I go, no stretching, just maneuver, do not stretch. All I'm doing is holding, there's no pressure on there at all. And just let it come through to the end. And because I've got them in a row, no, you wouldn't be, Pat, not at all. I get the next one and keep them facing upwards so I don't get confused, because I'm confused easily. And make sure that, oops, daisy, gloves getting in the way. This end is 1/4 inch further than the bottom end, the bottom one. And this one just sits a little bit lower. And I lift, and you can see that tiny point there going on, keeping it on the side of the foot, and I just feed that in. Keep it nice and steady. You know, when I get closer to this end, I will lift up and move it over a fraction, but I'm not stretching. Come across all the way, just let it feed it through until it gets to the last stitch. Pick up the next one and keep going. And this is why I don't pin very often, because I sort of I chain feed. So I'm just going to go like that. I'm so glad I didn't sew them the wrong way. That would have been embarrassing. Okay. Not to say I won't. All right, so I'm just feeding them through. So this is the first of a few steps to get this border done. So you do that one, go to the next one, and I haven't cut off, I haven't trimmed anything yet. I'm just feeding them through one after the other. And just grab a little balmy 9 degrees. Jeez, bloody chilly, isn't it? It's like that here. I'd hate to even think. I haven't looked to see what the temperature is. Now this is the one with that extra thing on the end. So we need to come down 1/4 inch above. So we need to move it down about, oh, come on Michelle, get your fingers organised. Down 1/4 inch that way. And if I've put it in the wrong spot, oh, hang on, what have I got here? Yep. So I've come down 1/4 inch there, but it looks like there's heaps there. I'm hoping that I'm doing it the right way. I sort of sewed it together earlier on the other side and didn't take much notice of what I was doing. Don't you love that? It should be fine. Okie doke. Now, once you get there, now I can cut off and you'll have the chain. See how it's all joined? Then you just trim that little bit of thread in between. They'll go back in the pile the same way they came out. Take off that bit of thread at the end, my whole 1 needle, and we open them up and we're going to now join these together. So let me take you back over to the other area over here, and I'm gonna bring you over here where we do a little bit of work. All right, so this one goes here. I just pick them up in order. I'm going to put them down in order. Oh, there goes our car alarm. I'd say someone's tried to open the car with a key. There's not a crook in sight here because we're too far away and it's too bleeding cold. All right, so that one should be right. Okay, so I've just pressed them down with my fingers, nice and, it's a bit rough. So I'll go along with this roller press one at a time and turn that sideways so I can see what I'm looking at. And with those bulky seams, the finger press is really good. You can turn it over. See how it just turned itself over the wrong way? You can just give it a little bit of a shove. Or I can make it go in this way too. So it depends on which way I want the fabric to fold. Then turn it back over here. Press all these in. Give it a nice run along here. Look at that. It's like a glove. Fits like a glove. Okay. So that one is ready. Look how flat that is and not one iron in sight. Although I do love my travel iron. Don't get me wrong. So that there is your next one. I'm just going to turn her over and make sure it's going the right way. It is. That'll go there. So on and so forth. All right. So it's the same method each time. Just making sure that little lumpy bit there's down. Nice and flat. Okay. Just move them along a bit. Overlap them so I've got a bit of room. You should go check out Michelle just in case. Oh no, God no. It was my husband out there. He's opened the car with a key. We live on like 70 acres. There's my dogs tell me if there's a stranger here. We don't no one comes up here for just no reason. They're normally they make a phone call, trust me. All right, so there we go. And one more. So I didn't finger press that very well, so push that down. Wendy's watching. Hi Wendy. Wendy is the proud runner of Statewide in Ballarat. She manages that shop, runs it. It's Roger's and John's business. Brilliant people they are, very caring, go bend over backwards to help you out. There we go, so that's those there. So now my next thing is I need to join this to this and this to this and blah blah blah. So instead of joining that one to that one and then coming back and joining that one to that one, I'm going to do some more chain piecing. So I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to flip it. You can't see that. I'll do it on this one. Grab it and flip it on the edge that it's going to be sewn. So it might sit funny, but that's okay, because if I was to turn it to sort of line it up a different way, like try and line up these two tops here, that's not going to sew properly. I have to line up that seam, that seam I'm about to sew. Okay, so that's that one, that's this one, and when I get to the machine I will straighten them up a bit more. So turn that sideways so I can see. Again, I'm laying them on top of each other, just so I know which one I'm picking up. And this baby has got the little fella at the end. Okay, so we flip that over and we have it ready to go on the seam that needs to be sewn, and that's facing that way, facing up. Okay, we slowly pick these up together and we're going to take them to the machine and machine piece them. So all this with one Trivex ruler. It's pretty cool, hey, what you can create. I mean, there's so many things you can create with the ruler. Beautiful quilts that people create with the rulers. Now I am lining up that top one a 1/4 inch above, lining up the bottom one 1/4 inch below, like that, putting this under my foot, and the needle will go in a down position right on the edge. Okay, press the start, fingers crossed she doesn't chew it, which it hasn't, and that will just stitch through there all the way to the end. I'm just going to make sure my seam is going the right way. The other one I actually had a couple of seams I didn't check on. And then you get to the end, or almost the end. I'm going to go a couple more stitches. You can even just stitch on nothing once you go past it. Pick up the next one, grab this. Now you look at it and it's going to cross over, but all I'm wanting to sew is this seam down here. So I lift up the foot and I pop it just under. It's not sewing on anything for 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's got the fabric. Okay, so I am going to sew down this seam. No stretching, no pulling, no ironing, just the roller press. Just making sure my seams are facing the right way. And I'm going to stitch off that. Okay, get the last one. And this gets easier as you go along. The more you do, the easier they are. It's always the way. That goes over the top. That goes under, lining up the edge of the foot with the edge of the fabric. It's going to stitch on nothing for a couple, and then it grabs the fabric. Okay? And I'm going to just line up that there. Let it feed through and cut off. Again, we have the chain. See the chain? That one down, that one down, and then this one, cut off the hairy legs, and they're still in order. Okay, so all still in order. Now, rather than going back over there, I'm just going to put that down a bit and you'll see what I'm doing. I'm just going to push that out like that. Get my roller press. Now that's a bit of a hard seam, so just a bit of a bulky bit. That's it there. Then I get my next piece, which is this one, and the seam I want to fix up is this one here. And I'm going to press that down there just gently. So if I push too hard, see how it stretches straight away? So I just want to push down gently and feed that out, just gentle, and press that down. By the way, Wendy, this is now mine. just saying. So it looks like it's a little bit like, you know, what's an Amy? A little bit loose in there, but I'm going to fix that up with the starch at the end of this. So I'll show you how to starch properly. A lot of people don't starch properly. There's a right way and a wrong way. Okay, so just finger pressing that down. Just nice. Flip her over for a minute because I can see that that's going to be bulky there on the edge. Big bulky bit. Flip her back over and just give it a nice press. Okay. Lovely. So then this one will connect to the one before it, just like we did before, and you flip it over and have those two seams line up just like we did, and we leave that last one that we haven't, the one that has only 3 on it. We join these up, having that a 1/4 inch below and that a 1/4 inch below that. So this bit here, the top bit, can't throw my hands in the way, this top bit is 1/4 inch lower than that. This top bit, bit is a 1/4 inch lower than this side. If it's out of alignment and it doesn't line up properly when you put it together, it's okay. We can straighten it up and we can fix it with a little bit of starch. So I'll show you how to do that once I've done this. All right. So place it under, line up the foot, the edge of the foot with the edge of the fabric. Make sure all your seams are going the right direction. Just get it going and line that up. Sorry, camera. Sorry, I forgot about the camera. Is there a right starch? Is there the right starch? Okay, so the starch I use, believe it or not, is the cheapest one I can find. Normally, except for if I'm starching, well, it's not so much, yeah, it is a starch, I suppose, but it's a light starch. Or I use Best and Press. If I don't have Best and Press, I find the cheapest starch I can find, and I use that. So then that joins those two together, like that. Then I'll just bring it down here. I won't finger press again yet. Oh, sorry, camera issues. I'll wait until I've got this one joined up, and then I can do it again. So joining those two, flip it over. So yellow and gold or crisp. I don't use Fabulon. It's useless. But normally the cheapest one I can find. They tend to work better. So bringing it over here. And feed her on through. Oh. Now it chewed it. Now that's because, naughty girl, I didn't have my needle in the down position, did I? Look at that, straight away. Now if you notice, I haven't let go of the position it's supposed to be in. Oh, there's lots of tiny little stitches there. Let's see if I can get them out without tearing the fabric too much. I don't have my little tool, it's inside the house. All right, there we go. Pull that out. If I can, if I can't, I'll cut it off. All right, whoop. It's all stuck together. Realign up. If I do something like that, I'll just go to realign. If it does it twice, second time, then I will start on the fabric and work my way forward and back. So needle down. You can see it's gonna do it twice. So I will just get that out. Sorry about this, guys. Done all this time without grabbing a point on the end. If you have a machine that just loves to do this all the time and chew your fabric or your thread like that, you can use what they call a leader. So a leader it's going to chew on the edge of that. Look at it, it's already chewed it up a bit and made it all fluffy. I might move it up a bit. So before I go any further, I just want to get that lumpy bit out of there. I'm going to go, it's nice to see professionals. Let's see, I have done pick. Just keep you on your toes and light it, yeah. All right, so if you get that happening, get a piece of fabric, fold it over 2 or 3 times like that, just like that. Pop it under your machine, needle down, and stitch across it like that. Come off the fabric, just at the edge of that fabric, and I need to clean that up a little bit more. A little bit chewed up. Let's see if we can get this to work nice now. So I'm going to try the leader thing first. Now I've popped that underneath. Look at that. Works like a charm. So if you find that your machine decides that it just wants to chew things all the time, God only knows why it does it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Wendy might have more of an idea than me. There's a pin attached to that. Get a leader like that, and yep, and then that little piece just starts off your sewing each time. So that's done that. So that border is now ready to just press and pin on, and I mean finger press. So let's go over here. All right, and I'll just get that in the down position a bit more. All right, so I have a couple of seams that I haven't pressed. So I'm going to just find them. There's one there. I'm just going to push down like that. Make sure it's over the right direction, and with a bit of a press, just make sure you can see how that just grabbed it and pushed it over. Just make sure you work from this edge of the fabric from the inside out, and give it a flip over just to make sure it's all going in the right direction on this side as well. Just makes your seams look so beautiful. So I'm just going to hold that there, drop it down. So I want the seam to go that way. So flip under, please. There we go. Now you'll see the edges of my fabric aren't even, but we're going to sort that out. I hold both threads when to start. Yeah, no, these ones have got that. With your machine, you would, Pat. You'd have to. With these ones, it's not swallowing the thread; it's just chewing the fabric. And these machines are designed not to need to something to do with the feed. Wendy would know the name of that. Thanks for the tip. I have to walk away sometimes. Yeah. So if you find that you just get a scrap bit of fabric, you can use it over and over and over and over again. Once you've got that through and you're feeding them through one after the other, you'd normally find that it'll just feed through next piece after next piece. So the leader just leads your fabric in, so less stress. So just pressing them down, got that all right. Now it looks all wobbly and everything. You can see that the edges of it are not nice, so we're going to fix that up now. I had the same thing with the last one, the other border. I'm just going to pick this up so you can see what I'm about to do. Just move that over. So before I take it to any ironing station or anything like that, I'm just going to go and turn that on while I'm waiting. things. I've got cords everywhere. Bear with me. Somewhere underneath all this I have an ironing mat. If I don't have an ironing mat, that can be my ironing mat. Okay. Alright, sorry. Just had to get my ironing mat. Okay, so never been taught about scrap of fabric. Brilliant idea. Me, Virginia. Okay, yeah, no worries, guys. Anytime. Now, this one. What we need to do, if you can see these borders, they're all out. All right, but don't be tempted to just go whipping it all off. You got to remember these are all on a bias. And you can sort of tweak things a little. So sometimes you have to tweak them this way and that. And I am going to do that as we speak. So I'm not worrying about this side of it. I'm just worrying about this side. And I want these to all line up here. Okay, so I do need to take off some of this. Okay, I'm going to come in and take a little bit off it. Hopefully it's ends up being the same size. What have we got here? If I go there, it's going to come in a little bit too low. I might, just looking at it, might be a little bit smaller than the other one. It just means I might have a small seam on a couple of them. Okay. I'm just going to take those bottoms off there and there. Even though that's not lining up, I'll do a smaller seam. And I'm taking off those little dog ears as well as I go. Line up that again. Bit of a trim. Take off the dog ears. And I don't know if you notice, but oh, thanks, guys. I don't know if you noticed, but I always put my blade back in whenever I put it down. As soon as I take it out of my hand, it's straight down. It's very, very important. I'm a bit of a Nazi when it comes to workshops and people leaving their blades unattended and hanging out. I've seen the results of someone losing, well, not losing, but taking a massive chunk out of their arm. So before you move the ruler, you can just flick them out, and as soon as I do that, I put the blade away. Okay, so I'm making sure it's 5.5 inches. Okay, because I put that, it's not a 5-inch seam anymore, it's a border, it's going to be 5.5 because I've put that extra border in. Okay, the extra bit of dark blue in there. So I'm lining up the other side as well. So trying to tweak it a little. If I find that it's not lining up here but everywhere else is lining, I just give the top of it a little bit of a tweak and come along there. Take those off. And I'll just go all the way up the end just to make sure she's looking good. And it probably could do with a little bit more of a shave. And that's it. Alright, now you're going to say to me, how the heck do I get this to sit? Now, when you saw it before, it was all wonky, yeah? Now it's not. So do the black hand bands hold the ruler for you, Michelle? Lynn, no, these are my quilting gloves, but they help when I'm holding things. I tend to keep them on. Yes, we were taught to put blades back as we used it, and it becomes second nature eventually. It does, Stella, and it's so important. I know a lady who actually opened up right up her arm because someone in the class, a workshop, left the blade open and she didn't know, and she reached past it and it just went straight in, and it was a brand new blade. I came in late as I was getting dinner on the go, we'll have to watch it again from the beginning. Yeah, Julie, yeah, Julianne, absolutely, go for your life. You can watch it again and again, and I'll probably pop it up on YouTube too over the next couple of days. So I'm going to go back to the one I did before. I'm just going to unpin it for a second. Now I've got the iron going. Now I've got both these. All right, now if you look at this one, if I don't turn it around the right way, I'm going to cut it wrong. So I want them both to be that one needs another border on it. Didn't I count right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I need to put one more border. Oh, there it is. Silly woman, aren't I? 6. Yep. So I'll just add that on. I think that's right. And that goes across there. Is that that? And I need a purple on it. So lucky I didn't throw them away. Hey. That one. So I've got 2 more to do. So let me just quickly sew these together and get them on this border. Haven't put enough on there. Yeah, very informative with lots of tips and hints tonight. Thank you. So these are my quilting gloves for, I think it was Lynn Mead. Lynn Mead, is that right? And I use these all the time, but I keep them on because I also use them when I piece. They just help me hold it without stretching the fabric and stuff. Gives me a bit of extra support. Don't mind me while I just quickly put these together. That one there, and I'm just going to join that one to there and give it another quick trim before we go much further. I should just give that a little press before I do. Once I've got this border on, then we'll go and do a bit of a sale, hey? You guys can invest in some new fabrics if you want, unless you've already got them. Looking fabulous, Michelle. Thank you. They are so comfy. You forget that you got... Yes, Gidget, I went to the toilet before and I forgot I had them on. I had to race out and take them off and go back to the torch. We do these things. Alrighty. So, I've caught up with myself. There we go. Oh, I didn't break the thread off properly. Fix that up. There we go. Thread everywhere. Alrighty. Where'd that come from? Over there. Snap that off. Alright, so I'll just press that little seam there. Now I'm going to show you how to starch properly. Straight away, first things first, before I do that, I really need to get this in the exact same position as what the other border is. So your temptation is to have it going like that and cut them both the same. No, I need it to be facing the way it's going to go. So I'm going to start here, lining up those seams, and I'm going to cut this one just past that pink corner. So sit that there. Just keep my eyeball on it as I move it around. Just past that pink corner. So I want them to be the same, even though the other end is going to end in a different colour. I don't really mind, just as long as, you know, and you notice I haven't cut the other end off, okay? So I'm leaving one end uncut. Now I'm going to go and take these to the starch. So come with me. Well, hopefully my battery doesn't run out of me. I must remember to put it on next time. Now, I've left my little iron mat inside the house, so I'm just using the back of a quilt. Now, see, it's got steam on. I'm going to turn the steam off. Move all these cords out of the way. I'm just going to set it up, turn the steam off. Got it on its, no, steam, it's on its hottest thing. Yep. Grab the starch. I think I've only got Fabulon now. The girls have taken all my stuff away. No. I'm going to use Best and Press. Best Press, okay? So, because the other one I've got there is Fabulon and I don't really like it. So I'm just going to use Best Press, which is also something you can get, it's obviously in reverse because of the camera, from Statewide. So what I do is come in and I give it a good spray. Don't be shy, give it a good spray. Now this is about the time you would walk away and, you know, go do something else and just let it soak into the fabric. All right, let it do its thing. You can even go make a cuppa, whatever suits. Then you pick up your iron and you place it down. I'm not ironing, I'm pressing. Down like that. Just hold it down. Oops a daisy. Down like that. I'm not ironing. Did you notice that? I'm just holding it still. So it's literally a press. Oh, that feels nice already. So, and you can feel the difference in the fabric. It's got that really nice feel about it. And the Best and Press doesn't make it crunchy like some starches. I do like the Best and Press. I use it on my long arm. It's quite good on the long arm. So I'm just waiting for it to soak in a little. And just pressing. Yes, definitely with your starches, any kind of starch. I do have a Fabulon there. I'll use Fabulon on the next one and show you. You literally just press. Probably a bit too much water on that one. If you start ironing, you're pushing and pulling those seams and you're stretching. So you'll notice what once looked like they were a bit sort of, you know, doing these ones along here. Those edges are now like nice and flat. See how flat they are? So I'm just holding it down without, I'm not doing these ones, okay? I'm not stretching it out. Okay, it's really important not to stretch it out. And when I press, that's how, whenever I do any ironing on my things, that's what I do anyway. Okay, so that's about the most amount of ironing you'll ever see me do. Okay, and that includes clothing. So I'll get the Fabulon. I'll show you the difference. You probably might not see it on the actual camera. I can smell the difference because this one's scented and the other one's not. You might not see it, but I'll feel it in the actual fabric. It'll feel different. I mean, you can spray starch something and walk away and come back 5 minutes later and it will work beautifully. Yeah, so this is a little bit crunchier. But I do like the crisp and the Best Press. But apparently the Best Press is better for your fabric. Do you always have your steam off No, only when I'm doing starch, I have the steam off. What steam does is steam will actually, it loosens the fibers of the fabric, right? So that's if I want something to move a bit, like give it a bit of a stretch, like I'm trying to stretch out a seam or something like that, just to, you know, make it fit, which is not very often, but it happens. Then I will use steam. Steam releases like it loosens the fibers and allows you to stretch it. So if you use steam with starch, one counteracts the other, and it becomes a pointless task. Okay, so you can see I lift up and then I pop it down. And if you want to run over like this, you need to do it with that iron really just gently sitting on it. You know, there's no pushing down. It is so gentle that there's no movement in that fabric. Okay, so it's a little bit stiffer than the other one. Okay, all right, that's how I will straighten it up as well. I'll actually move it. So if I want to say, I don't know, let me have a look at it. It's not too bad. If I want to, this one here, I think it was this one here, I needed to straighten up a bit, like it was a bit, so it was going like that, right? So it's going off like that. Where do you get the best press from, Michelle? I haven't heard of that before. Okay, so I can get that for you at Statewide. So just send me a quick message with best press and I'll get it for you. So see how that's now going around a corner? Well, if I just press that, it's just going to keep going around, yeah? So what you do is you give it a spray with starch, and because it's got the bias, if I was to leave that like that, it would stay like that, okay, when it dries. So you get, and if I move it this way, you can see it's got that looseness there. See that looseness? It's got that Mexican wave thing going on. So I've straightened it out here. And then you just press. And what happens is, and you can see that there, see how it's a bit high still? You just press down next to it and then up again next to it, slowly building it across, straight on top. Just work it a little bit. Oops, daisy, let go of it. Nice and gentle. You see there's been movement in the fabric, but it is now nice and straight. That's how you straighten it out. Okay, so that I stretched it. You can see it was stretched. Then I just re-straightened it up, and I can see that where I've stretched it a bit, but once I've sewn that into the actual quilt, it'll be fine. All right, so I'm just going to turn it off because I probably won't need it again tonight. I'm going to go across to here. This is where we're going to put it onto our quilt. Now, do you notice that I've got one end which has been trimmed and one end that hasn't? For those who've just dropped in, these are the panels that I'm using. One of these, which is, I'll just come back a bit, Dancing Daisies, and I've got them, or Delightful Daisies. I've got the yellow and I've also got the purple. You won't get them on any other website, trust me. Now I'll take one away and I start with one border. And I start at the end that I know I've got a straight edge, which is this end up here. All right, move it down so you can see. All right. I will pin at this point. I'm just going to push that seam down a little bit more. And I'm going to just flip it the way it's going to be sewn, like that. I'm going to come up here, line it up with there, so it's right angles here and here. And I'm going to pop a pin or two. And when I put the pins in, I'm just putting them in just to feed it, so when I feed it through, it's nice and straight. Okay. Now, remembering some of these might have, I don't think it's this one actually, it's the next one, might have a short seam, like a small seam. Missed the price. How much were they? Oh, sorry, I probably didn't say it, Judy. They're $27.50. The yellow one is silk, and that's $27.50, and the purple one is $25.50, and that one is cotton. But the silk works just as well. All you need is some stabilizer behind it, and you'll see here, or you might not be able to see it that far away, but you'll see here in the seam I'm going to have a scant 1/4 inch there, but I won't stretch it out of place. I'll just pop the pin in just to show me where it needs to be, and then I'll come across to here. And this is a triangle, so don't go stretching the little darling out of shape. Just pin it down to it, nice and gentle. No stretchies. Okay, so I haven't pulled and shoved it any. It's all good. Now I'm going to take it to the machine. Okay. So if there's anything that I've shown you that you want, like the gloves or the best press or the panel or anything like that, please, 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 just send me a PM, because while I'm doing the demos, I really, really, really can't write them down. Now I've got this back to front, okay, so it's in the wrong side. So I'm gonna turn it around that way. I'm reckoning, because I've pinned it, it should be okay. So foot down, do my 1/4 inch thing, and I get to, before the pin, take the pin out. And I just go to each point, and as you can see, I'm just using my glove. I'm not stretching it. I'm not going to stretch this to make it sit up there, because it will literally twist it around if I do that. Okay, as I get closer to those pins, I'm whipping them out. There's my scant 1/4 inch is just there. I'm going to go back and forth a little bit over that area just to give it a little bit more security, and place my hand down, out of the way, next pin, and I keep going all the way to the end, just making sure I'm lining up as I go. All my seams are in the right position, they're all in the down flat, they're nice and flat. And I didn't have to iron once. I pressed, but I didn't iron. Because I hate ironing. just saying. Just saying. Okay, so I'm literally, there's not really much in the way of pressure going on with my hand. It's just to hold it firm so that the bottom piece of fabric doesn't twist or move out from underneath. Keep my fingers out of the way. If I've done this right the whole way, it's Daisy, it's getting caught. It should just end at the end there. Now, I almost did it, didn't I? Almost stretched. So I've got my needle down. I can lift my foot up just to give it a release. And just let that feed through and cut off. Now, the unveiling. Look at that. Cool, hey. So I'm going to now just pin the other side. I iron every night my son's uniform. I know, you've told me that before. That's crazy. I don't do ironing. I hate ironing. I avoid it like the plague. Because I just don't like it. I used to iron absolutely everything. I used to iron underwear and tea towels and face washes and you name it, I ironed it. Towels, pillowcases. You can't even tell you how much I used to iron. All right, so that goes up that end. This one comes down this end. And I'm going to flip. And I'm going to, now I'm not lining up the actual patterns, I'm lining up the edge of the fabric. Got my trusty pin cushion, just lining up that edge. I'll put a pin close to it, but not right on the edge, because I want to be able to start my machine. So just laying it nice and flat there. Remembering that I might have a seam that's a bit wonky. Alright, it's all good. Hi Jackson, you're online. I have non-iron clothes and David irons his own as he insists on cotton things. He's well trained. I like that. Oh yeah, Rod knows with his uniform or his work clothes or anything like that, if he wants them ironed, he would have to learn how to use an ironing board and iron, because and besides, there's not one in the house anymore. It's all up here. I don't think my kids. One time I had to iron something because we were going out. That's the only time I'll ever iron anything, is if I'm going out and Rod needs to wear a shirt. That is it. That's end of story. Anyway, I had to iron something, and one of my kids turned around to me and said, "Mum, what are you doing?" They'd never seen me iron before, because I'd never ironed anything. But you know, as a kid, I used to watch Mum, you know, iron all the time until I was able to, and then it was me ironing, and I mean, I ironed everyone's clothes. I hated it. And then I did a bit of ironing as for extra pocket money locally when I was a kid. My mum knows, unless it's something good and we are going out, and yeah, it's exactly what I mean. My mum knows that I don't iron anymore. Sometimes she'll go, "Michelle, those jeans could have taken a press," and I just look at her and go, "Nope." it's true. I do iron when we're going out. Yeah, even then, I will put it back away if it needs to be ironed. I'm just too lazy. Hate it with a passion. Can't stand ironing. So I can feel it's getting caught on things. So I'm just going to move stuff out of the way. When I was growing up, for 9 of us, and hated it too. Yeah, I mean, it's only 4 of us, Stella. It was 4 of us, but that was enough, you know. And Dad had work shirts and blah, 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 and I used to have to bloody iron his underwear. How ridiculous. Underwear and singlet tops. Singlets, you know, blueies. Yeah. Now, not a chance in Hades. Besides, I'm too bleeding busy to be ironing. I've got too many things to do. So it's not happening. My kids, if they want something ironed, they want to learn how to iron it. I can tell you now. Uniform, they can iron it themselves if they want it ironed. Otherwise, when I do the washing, I hang things so that they don't crease. So I hang them certain ways, or I get a coat hanger and I hang things that way as well, or a clothes horse, or the dryer or steam, or whatever I can do not to iron. I would rather spend 6 hours steaming clothes than I would iron them. Can't stand it. I think clothes look lovely when they're ironed, as long as I'm not doing it. All right, we're nearly there. So what I'm doing is actually just sewing these on, and I'm not worrying about that end bit not being lined up because I'm going to trim it off. Because this was by the seat of my pants with no measurements at all and yada yada yada, the border's going to be a bit skewy at the end, so I'm not really stressed over it because we're just doing this for fun. Alright, you ready? So instantly you go, oh my god, it's all pulled to one side. No, we haven't pressed with the finger presser yet, the roller press yet. We need to do that. And then we need to get the best press and just press those seams there where they join, because we don't want to stretch out that edge bit. I need to have those seams go that way. So I want the seam to go out. That's it. Make sure it goes out. Lift it up, drop it down. If it seems to flick that under, just give it another nudge. I'll turn it over in a minute. And I used to iron for my grandmother as well when I used to go stay there. And I loved ironing for her. I could have ironed for my grandmother. If I could have ironed for her every day, I would have. I don't know why. I think it's just my grandmother. Just loved her so much. Absolutely adored the ground she walked on. Still do. And I adore my mother just the same. And I used to do it for my mum. I never complained. I just used to do it because that's what we were told to do. If I tried to tell my kids now to iron, there would be some serious moaning going on. I don't think they'd know how to do it anyway. Alright, I'll just turn it over and give it a little bit of a tweak. See, one of my seams I didn't check before I sewed it. So I'm just going to put a bit of pressure on this side without stretching those lovely bias spot seams. Right where those knots are. Okay, just give them a little bit of a tweak. And that one's going the right way. There we go. Alright, I'm going to do the other side. It's looking better already. I mean, you could have done blacks and greys. You can do any colours. There's hot pinks. You could have done reds with it if you wanted to. It's, you know, there's no right and wrong with this. It is what it is. And depending on what panel you get, as to whether it's, you know, going to be in the lemons or yellows and oranges, or whether you're going to do the purple one because, you know, mauves and that sort of thing. I'll put the navy in there, that dark blue. I went and stopped and had a banana before. I think it's repeating on me. You all gone to sleep yet? Okay. All right. I have put in the orders for all the back orders, and I have a couple of back order items into, not the fabric, but just items. So I'll be messaging people tomorrow and the next day. Okay, so now we've done that and we've pressed with the finger press. We need to now just trim this other edge so it doesn't look weird. Oh. So I'm going to, yeah, still there, still. I know we have learned so very much. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, you're welcome. So I'm going to use the board as a, not the board, the ruler, because the boards, I don't use the boards for measuring much. I use my ruler because the rulers don't change. The boards can adjust and change over time and with the amount of use they get. So I tend to not use them that way. All right, so I'm going to do this end using the ruler as a guide and coming down here. Don't have to tweak any of those. Just maneuvering. Oh, it's upside down too, that doesn't help. There we go, that's better. Maneuvering that way. I can see my seam is a little bit off. Give it a bit of a tweak there. Now hold it down, trim, and release. I'm only good ironing when it's making the ironing for minor baking since I was 9. Stella, listening intently, bringing back lots of memories about my mum and grandmother. Yeah, look, my mum and grandmother are like my best mates. Oh, love them. All right, so that's that. So I'll hold it back over here. All right, so you can see just there. So that's that. I will grab this out of here. See my fat head. Hang on. Let's move this way. Let's turn her around. There we go. Look at that. It's a bit funky. Not exactly what I would have liked with the border, but who cares? You know what? It's done. It's quilted. It's going to be quilted. I'm going to put a couple more borders around it, and I've used those what's the names? Trivex rulers to do it. But you can see, I was actually thinking before I did this was to actually do like a what's the name? A stone. What do they call cornerstone? That was another thing I thought of doing, so that I didn't have this, or putting a black border in between to make it look like it's, you know, these bits here. So that's something I can always unpick and put in. That's not hard. Your mum Carol was lovely. She was the first person my dog warmed to. Hey, I know. I love my mummy. But yeah, that's the borders are on there. And I think once you've got it into like some sort of quilt, like bigger, I don't think that'll be as noticeable. But I could also applique in there too if I wanted to. Something a bit different and very nice. Thanks, Judy. Thank you. But it's done. So far, I've created something from something that people keep asking me, what would I do with it? So you can put these into quilts. Absolutely. It just depends on how you want to do it. No reason why not. You can do 2 or 3 of them in a block. You know, one or 2 or 3 of the same, or 2 of the same color, or three or 4 of them. Doesn't matter. And just do blocks of them. So the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm thinking of putting a black line in there. Seriously. Serious thoughts. And I could quite easily do that by undoing this, undoing that, adding a black, like cutting it back. Pink inside was a better choice. Cutting it back an inch. No, 3/4 of an inch. An inch. 3/4 of an inch, sorry. And then sewing on the inch, and then sewing it back that way and back that way. And I reckon, here, if I get this black, look, see that? Will go in there like that. See? I reckon that'd be better. Doesn't it? Better than that. And that will have then one there, like that. And then I'd do it on the other sides as well. So I'd have one there. I reckon. Don't you reckon? I've got more of those little strips. No, I haven't. Oh. Yeah, it should make that centerpiece pop. But I reckon those black strips there, and then if I put the black strip on this side as well, see? Yeah. I reckon. See? You never know. See, this is without. When you see the finished product, it was better to have the pink where it is with the purple there. Well, there you go. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? How we look at things. But I think if we, yeah, because if I have it like that, it looks a bit weird. But if I put that in there, that will work. It'll be this side, like that. I think much more betterer, I reckon too. So I think I'm going to do that. I'll do that sometime tomorrow amongst everything else and fix that up. And I'm going to figure out what other borders I'm going to put. But that's that one. Now, let me turn it around. Come on, thing, turn around. My junk pile there. Okay, so what time is it? Gosh, it's 6 o'clock. I've been yapping for nearly 2 hours. Good God. All right, so what I want to show you is some fabrics that I have. Now, because I'm doing this on my phone, I'm going to have to go and I'm going to grab, I've got my bits and pieces. I'll grab my remnants first because that'll be easier. So I'll come and sit down over here. I'm going to have to put the phone down so I can actually talk right at the same time. And I'm doing this without assistance, so bear with me. 1 o'clock, I know. Do you want to come back in half an hour and do the sales, and I can have my stuff ready and do it on the computer? What do you reckon? Yay! I reckon. What do you reckon, ladies? It's a good idea. Something to eat and drink. Come back in. No, Elf, good idea. No, Elf, yeah, it's a good idea. Sounds good, yeah. Without the Elf here helping me. Yep, good idea. Yes, fine with me. All right, awesome. So let's meet back here at 7. And I'll do a bit of a sale for you. I should have, I've got a bit of an idea on the ones I haven't quite cut yet. So I should have a bit of an idea on how many meters are left. Half an hour too hard for it by yourself? Yeah, no, I can do that. I did it for ages on mine. Half an hour, you want to meet at half past 6? 22, somewhere in there. I'll give you a 5-minute warning. Sounds like a plan. Hang on, this computer's looking for me. Making sure it's you, this stupid computer. Yep, there we are. Although the phone camera is clearer, I know. I can do it on the phone, but I just need to have it sitting down. I don't know why, but this keeps opening up something weird on my computer. All right, so I will see you at about 1:30. So I will give you a message. All right, see you soon.